Hey, what's up, guys? So tomorrow or Saturday, I'm going to post another extensive guide for you all, so I hope you all like that. Today, I just real quick wanted to make a video where I go through kind of the 10 most common responses I got from my last video, which was the hatchling idea that I had to like solve that problem in the gamma container problem as I saw it. That video was good. I knew it was going to be controversial. It's an opinion on the internet after all, so I had a feeling it was going to, get some negative responses to it. That's fine. You don't have to like my idea. I'm not a game developer. I don't think my opinions are more valid than anybody else's. But it got a lot of good responses. But it also got a lot of like the same exact response over and over and over again. A lot of people have the same ideas. And I like to respond to all comments, but once you respond to something 30 times, you kind of don't want to respond to it another 50 times. And that video already has like, I don't know, 1,000 comments or something. So I just thought I would make a quick video where I go through kind of the 10 most common like feedback that I got, and just real quick go through it all and give you guys kind of my insights on that. And that way I don't have to do it, 1,000 more times. So with that, let's just jump right into it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, go down in the description below, get my links to my Twitch, follow me there. And if you're looking for people to play with, go join the Discord server. We've got over 1,000. I don't even know how many people we got on Discord now. It's got 1,000, more than 1,000. It's insane. Yeah, come join, come play, and come hang out with me on stream. Anyway, let's jump right in. So number one, the most common comment that I got was your idea sucks. Just all you got to do to solve the problem is don't let hatchlings enter a raid or lock their secure container if they enter a raid as a hatchling. And yeah, that would solve the problem of hatchlings, but that's not my problem. Like, my problem is not people who choose not to bring gear into a raid. I could not care less about that. My problem is people who not only do they not care if they live or die, but they actively are going to kill themselves or log out once they get the items that they showed up for. They know exactly where those graphics cards are or whatever. They know where the high tier loot is. They're sprinting right for it. They throw it in their secure container and then they log out or kill themselves, and that's a wrap, right? So that's who my problem is addressed to. Now, if your problem is you just don't like it if people aren't coming into the raid geared, this would solve it, but that was never my problem. I don't mind if people come in with no gear. As long as they're trying to survive, I don't care. Number two, hatchlings aren't a problem. This was a very common comment too. I don't necessarily disagree. I don't really care about hatchlings myself. A lot of people really hate them. A lot of people don't really care. Some people fall in between. But you know who does care is Battlestate Games. They have put in multiple game mechanics now to try and curb the hatchling problem, from making your health be reduced down to 1% instead of 30% if you're a hatchling, to now being tagged and cursed if you're a hatchling, and making all the scabs have like ESP and sprint around the map and come chasing after you. That specific game mechanic is the only reason I even made my video, because I do not like that game mechanic at all. I think it solves the problem of hatchlings, but does it solve the problem of people who are exploiting the game by like trying to farm the game? I don't think that solves it at all. Now, instead of being a hatchling, they spend 5,000 rubles on a pistol and 1,000 rubles on an army backpack, and they just do the same exact thing that they were doing before. I don't see how we solve the problem with that. So that's my whole thing. If BSG sees it as a problem and then they use a sledgehammer on the problem, to me, the cure is worse than the disease, So that's why I made the video. That's who it was addressed to, basically. Number three, I paid for Edge of Darkness. You can't take my gamma away from me. I sympathize because I bought the Edge of Darkness version too, for the gamma and also for the stash. But since then, now with the hideout, you can get the maximized stash size anyway, and regardless of what version you have, and you can get the Kappa container. I know you can't get it till the end of the game, so the game is still very useful, but all of the things that you got Edge of Darkness for, you can now access those things or better with any version of the game. And the game hasn't imploded and people are still buying the better version. And so I don't know. But the other thing is, it's a game in beta. You knew that going in. You knew that everything was subject to change. I don't think in a game as unique and special as Tarkov, that we should feel like because we paid $150 for something, we should handcuff the developers to making a game no longer fitting their vision and preventing them from solving problems. That feels very selfish and bad. So I sympathize, but at the end of the day, I don't sympathize that much, I guess. And the other thing is, my idea doesn't even call to take away the gamma. That's the weird thing. Like you still get to keep the gamma. The gamma will still be better than the alpha. I just tax it a little bit, and that gets rid of the hatchling problem. It also gets rid of the main problem that I see with the secure containers, which is that they're just this magic vortex box that is always free to use, and it leads to people never risking their keys, their expensive backup meds, and everyone just walks around like a walking pharmacy. And I don't see that as a positive thing for the game, personally. I personally would not mind one bit if they completely remove the gamma container, or all the secure containers for that matter. I don't care about it. If they want to leave it in, that's totally fine. I don't hate it. I think it has problems, but This punishes good players who aren't exploiting. That's kind of true. I mean, that's true. That's a fair comment. But my idea isn't just to stop hatchlings, as I just said. It's also to solve problems with the secure container itself, as I just went through. Everything else about Tarkov is choices and consequences. Make it out alive or you lose everything, etc., etc. And then you have this container where, do you remember what it was like a couple patches ago, where it wasn't a given that if your leg got blacked out, you would just fix it and then you'd be fine? Like, you had to take pain pills. Tarkov has always been a game that slowly whittles you down. And I feel like with all of the new meds, it doesn't really do that anymore. Now it's like, okay, I got 4 blackened limbs. I guess I'm going to spend a minute repairing it all and then get back to the raid as normal, as if I never got shot to begin with. And my HP is a little bit lower, but who cares, right? I don't know. I like the days where it felt like you were limping, parched-lipped, just bleeding, and your hands were shaking, and you had blurry vision by the end of your raids because you messed up somewhere. That's a good feeling, and it rewards you not taking chances. It rewards you treating the game like it's a little more real than Call of Duty or PUBG or whatever. I like these things about the game, and so I don't like that everyone is a walking pharmacy in the game. That's a big problem to me. Number 6, put all hatchlings on their own server with each other so they can't bother geared players. This is the stupidest fucking idea I've ever heard in my life. No offense to you guys who came up with this solution, but it's not a solution. For one, it's a lot. How much work do we want BSG to put into this? My idea is literally like, you already have an insurance game mechanic, add it to the secure container, done. That's it. This idea is, okay, we need to come up with a whole second instance of the game. And then an extra addendum to this idea that I heard was reduce the loot so that hatchlings can't get that good of loot. But they still get to run amok with really no, I guess the scavs can still go after them, but if you know how to play, like, you can get around the scavs pretty easily. This isn't a solution. It's a lot of work. Like, you want the devs to come up with a whole new loot table when we on the main server don't even have more than one loot table. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a solution. It's such a bad idea. Number 7, only let players under level X be hatchlings. This, I think, is it's not a terrible idea. I see what you're getting at, but here's the thing. Like, why can't we just let anybody be whatever they want to be? You know what I mean? Like, taking whatever gear they want. I don't have a problem with hatchlings. Like, if you want to do a 0 to hero run, or if you're poor, like, you could be level 40 and become poor. That can be a thing, or at least poorer than you want, or you're really struggling with a specific mission and you just feel like being a hatchling or something. Trying to restrict it only to newbies, which is what this idea basically is. It's basically saying, look, new players, they're scared, they got to get used to the game, so let them be hatchlings, just don't let anybody else. But it also doesn't even address the problem, right? Like, going back to the first one, like, the first question, it doesn't even address the problem of people exploiting the gamma container to farm and not even try to survive the raids, right? Because you could, like, with this idea, okay, so I can't be a hatchling anymore, so I guess I'll take a PM pistol and a scav vest and an army bag for what, 8,000 rubles or less? That's not a big enough tax, I don't think, to curb the issue. Do you know what I'm saying? Number 8, don't let players put items in their container in raid. Only let people put stuff in before a raid for their keys, meds, and so on. This is probably the best idea that I heard, but I also considered this before I made the video, and I don't love this idea. Let's give the idea its due, though. It would solve the problem completely. There's almost no more hatchlings with this idea, so that is a big plus. There are no more farming hatchlings, that's for sure. So that's a big pro, but it cuts the usefulness of the secure container in half. And now suddenly the secure container, which I assume its original goal was to be a way to soften the blow of death, right? You know, you go in, you get a little bit of loot, you stash it in there, and then sure, you died, but, you know, you did grab a mission item, you grabbed a little bit of this or that. Maybe you got really lucky, you grabbed something really good, and so you didn't bring that much in, so you feel okay about it. But now it's just like, okay, it's not that. You can't, now death always feels as bad as possible, but you're still a walking pharmacy. That seems, I would almost rather it be the reverse. I'd almost rather say you can only put items that you get in raid in there, and you can't take anything from your stash and put it in there. And you know, to combat that, you'd have to say like only in raid items could be put in the secure container, something like that. So that way you don't like store your, you know, meds in your backpack, and then once you get in raid, then move them into your secure container. Nothing like that. But like, I would almost rather prefer it to be that way. But I don't know. Like, if we're gonna have the gamma container, if we're gonna have the secure container, let's have it. Let's not whittle it down into nothing. But I don't hate the idea. If they did it, if they implemented this, I wouldn't be pissed off about it. A lot of people would be. I kind of like my idea better than this, but I wouldn't be disappointed if this is the route they took. And number 10, the real problem is hackers, spawn campers, and extract campers, not hatchlings. Look, for one, like, can't we have more than one conversation at a time? Like, I don't understand. Like, okay, I understand you think there are bigger problems out there, but why can't we talk about this too? And two, I get very wary of people who cry hacker all the time. I remember back in 0.9 when there was all kinds of exploits. Do you guys remember that you used to be able to exploit the main extract on factory so that you were invincible, but you could still murder other people? Like, that was a shit show, right? And back in 0.9, like, hackers were rampant, and you saw them like almost every raid. It was crazy. So I sympathize. But since I came back for 0.12, I've been back 2 months, and I have not run into a single instance where I'm like, yeah, that was definitely a hacker. I haven't seen that once. I'm not saying they're not out there, but for me to have not run into anything where I'm like, yeah, that's definitely a hacker, makes me think that the hacker problem is maybe a little overstated right now. At the very least, I haven't seen much recent proof of it. Not saying they're not out there. I'm sure they are. But I don't know that it's like super rampant and like just nonstop being murdered by hackers. Doesn't seem to happen to me, as far as I can tell, ever. Spawn campers, I don't think I've ever had this problem. I don't know. I'm aware that like the spawn locations are known, and so people can rush the spawn locations and whatnot. I guess maybe this is a problem if your computer isn't very good and you spawn in late all the time. I guess I could see that. I've never had this problem, so I don't know how rampant it is. It's never, as far as I know, it's never affected me. So I don't know. And extract camping, I've witnessed maybe twice. And the only time that it definitely happened, the guy waited for me to walk by his bush. He started shooting me down. He botched the job. I spun around. I murdered him. And it was fine. And then I left. Who you extract camping, bitch? So like, it's the, like, I don't like, is this really that big of a problem? Now, to be fair, it happened on Interchange, and I know that Interchange at that specific extract camping is happens all the time. There's all kinds of bushes in there, and obviously they need to add more extracts, but that's coming. They've already said that's coming. So like, yeah, I don't know. These problems aren't that big of a deal as far as I can tell, and I don't think that there's such a big and prominent problem that we can't talk about hatchlings also. Also, I see hatchlings all the time. So, you know, you might not agree that hatchlings are a problem, but they are more common, Anyway, guys, that's all I got. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Follow me on Twitch. Come join the Discord server. If you have more comments, feel free to drop them below. I'm not going to make another video about it, but I wanted to give you guys a little something so you at least know what my feedback is in case you're wondering why I wasn't responding to your comments. I just got the same comments over and over again. So that's all I got, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow or the next day for my next guide. See you out there.